What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Elite Collection Series 64 Samoa Joe. Here we do have Samoa Joe in the packaging. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get him open up, and then we'll have a better look at the figure inside. So stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Samoa Joe posing out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what Samoa Joe comes with. Samoa Joe does come with quite a few accessories. He does come with 2 pairs of hands. He comes with a pair of grasping hands. And then he also does come with a pair of style posed hands, which I'm really glad they did include. Samoa Joe also includes his towel. And then he also does come with a Soft Goods Samoa Joe t-shirt, which I am glad that they did throw in. I think that's probably the best Samoa Joe shirt that we've gotten so far, mainly because it fits best on this figure and it doesn't look like an oversized t-shirt. Other than that, Samoa Joe really doesn't come with anything else. I don't know what else you'd want to include with this version of Joe, but what we're going to do now is have a closer look at the Samoan Destroyer. And so here we have a closer look at Samoa Joe, and I have to say Mattel is getting much better with the face printing tech. You can see that this really does look like Samoa Joe, although newer Joe, I don't think he has the beard. Does he still have the beard? Is it growing out? I can't quite remember if he has just the goatee, the beard, but I know his hair is growing out, so that's a little bit of a sad thing that it's a little older Joe, but it still looks good, and it looks just like Samoa Joe, so they are getting better with their face printing technology. Really do like the way this figure came out. I'm still not a fan of the body that they use for Samoa Joe. I still feel like it's too thin from a side profile. From the front profile, it looks good, but from the side, I feel like they should make him a little bit chunkier. Samoa Joe is a bigger guy, and I think if they had gone with a Lord Tensai body and worked with that, this would be a much better figure, but as it stands, it's still an okay body. Samoa Joe here does sport white wrist tape on his right arm, as you can see. He has white wrist tape as well as having his entire hand taped up on his left side, and then we also do get an elbow pad on this side, but I'm not really a fan of how Mattel did this. They just pretty much painted his arm white. Don't like when Mattel does that, especially when they have the elbow pad that could have been used for this. I don't know why they just painted it on. I know people say that this is pretty much how it is. I would still like to have an actual elbow pad rather than just paint. It does feel kind of cheap and lazy that Mattel would just paint something that should be a separate appliance. But other than that, it's still a good figure. You can see some of the little fuzzies from the shirt stayed onto his body. Samoa Joe is once again sporting the red and black trunks that we have seen in the past. Same sculpt that we've gotten with other Samoa Joes. I just think that the red looks better, except right here. You can see that on mine, the red isn't fully painted right here. A little bit unfortunate, but there's really not much I can do about that. Shorts are done really nicely. You can see there is some flesh tone on the sides right there. Knee pads have his knees painted white. He actually has wraps underneath his knee pads now, so that's why they did paint it white. Knee pads are sculpted on, which I'm okay with Joe because there's no way you would be able to get an actual knee pad right here. I think I said elbow pad. I meant knee pad right here, and then give him articulation, so I think they did the best with what they had. And then we do have flat black kick pads, which do look good. There's really not much to say about his kick pads. They're just kick pads, no design. But other than that, that's Samoa Joe for you guys. What we're going to do now is actually compare him to a few other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Samoa Joe posed next to an Elite Stone Cold Steve Austin and an Elite AJ Styles. Here we have Samoa Joe posed next to an Elite Miz and an Elite CM Punk. And finally, here we have Samoa Joe posed next to older Elite Samoa Joe figures. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually take a look at Samoa Joe's articulation. He does have a ball joint in the head. He can look up. Can't really look down because of how low his head sits on that ball joint. His head only turns to about there. His chin does end up hitting his traps. And then we get no side-to-side pivot, again, due to the fact that his head sits really low on that ball joint. Arms do go out to about there. do a full 360. He swivels at the bicep, has a single bend in the elbow, has a swivel and hinge at the wrist. Although I really would have liked to see them use white plastic for the hinge. I don't know why they went with flesh tone. He does have an ab crunch which goes back only about that far, goes forward about that far, does have a waist swivel. Legs do kick forward only to about there. They kick back, go out to the side, only about that far. Swivel at the thigh. He is double jointed in the knee, but you're only going to get about 90 degrees with each bend. So even using both of them, it's still only 90 degrees. Swivel at the boot. We do have a hinge in the ankle which goes back and forward. And then, of course, we do have rocker ankle. So overall, pretty good articulation on Samoa Joe. It's decent. It's not the best we've seen, but it's acceptable. So what we're going to do now is actually take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have Samoa Joe posed for my final thoughts. Overall, I really like the way this figure came out, although I'm not a fan of how Mattel did the elbow pad. The elbow pad should be a separate appliance. I don't feel like it was really necessary to paint his elbow, but hopefully that's something they change in later figures. I really don't like seeing painted elbow pads or knee pads because it does make me worry on where this line is going, but as it stands, I still like the way the Samoa Joe turned out. The head sculpt is really accurate and the face paint is just so much better than the original Samoa Joe figures we've gotten in the past that I do really recommend this figure if you're collecting the Elite figures or just need a new Samoa Joe in your collection. I did find the Samoa Joe at Target and Elite. 64 is hitting stores right now, so if you are looking for Samoa Joe, go ahead and check your local Walmarts, Targets, and even Walgreens for this figure. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it fits in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And while you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.